Oh my God. Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Fisher. This is our channel, Scientology Peeling the Onion. And I'm with some Vegas showgirl named Janis Gillham Grady. How you doing, Janis?
I'm doing good, Mark. I put this on to wish you happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, today is my birthday. This show will probably be out after my birthday, but we're recording it on my birthday, which was Thursday,
Yeah.
the 29th. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm 66, double sixes, you know. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I thought about it earlier, and then when we were talking, I forgot, and then I was like, oh, I better put my hat on. So anyway, happy birthday.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right.
Anyway, so tell everybody what the show's about.
Today we're going to talk about RonZorg. And back in 2019, there was a RonZorg in Moscow, and they invited me to come and do a slideshow on my books. Now, RonZorg is an organization that was set up by Captain Bill Robertson. When he left Scientology, he got some auditors together and he set up his own organization of independent Scientologists. And the story has it is that Captain Bill was in telepathic communication with L. Ron Hubbard. And from that, Captain Bill wrote out these higher OT levels up to OT 48. And I've been told that these are from L. Ron Hubbard, that they are, it is his technology because of the telepathic communication between Captain Bill and Hubbard. Now, during that time period that Captain Bill says he was in telepathic communication with Hubbard, I know Hubbard was working on other projects like cine movies and things like that. And Captain Bill was never a tech terminal for Hubbard. Hubbard would have, if he did come up with these levels, he would have given them to David Mayo. But anyway.
So this is when Hubbard was still alive, right? This wasn't after Rich died? Yeah.
Yes, this is when Hubbard was still alive. Anyway, so be it. Everyone can make their own decision as to what, I've heard a lot of wins from people who did these OT levels that Captain Bill came up with. I don't know what they are. When I was in Russia, someone came up to me and asked me, where was I on Captain Bill's bridge? And I'm like, what bridge? And that was how I first heard about it, really. Though when I was in the Sea Org, I had heard Captain Bill was off on Sector 9 and doing a RonZorg, but I really didn't get into that or anything like that. Anyway, so I met a lot of independent Scientologists in Moscow. And then after my trip there, I flew to Switzerland and I stayed with Max and Erica, who run RonZorg. And they seem to be the main people running it and getting people together. And they have these different meetings and classes and a lot of education. And that comes from a lot of work that Max does. And he seems like a very thorough type of person. And I spent like 24 hours with him and Eric. I stayed at their place and saw their operation in Switzerland. So that was my original introduction to RonZorg. And then...
Do you have Max's last name?
Shoot. No, I'll have to look it up. I'll sorry.
Put it in the description. We'll get it and I'll put it in the video description.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so that was my introduction to RonZorg. So this time, since I was in South Africa, I thought I would meet Ernest and Gay Corbet, who, when they left Scientology, they went and they visited 12 different ideal orgs. And from doing that, they were like, this is off the rails. You know, they're just after donations and money. They're not delivering Scientology technology. And they then left and became independent Scientologists. And there was like about 51, 59 people that left with them, and including their daughter, who's a Class 6 auditor. And Gay, I had actually met Gay when she was a FCCI on the Apollo. She was there back in 74 or 75 getting audited. And then Ernest, her husband, he was turned 80 on the day I met them in Cape Town. But Ernest had actually been to the Neptune when we had all moved off the ship and we were living at the Neptune in Daytona. And Hubbard was there doing daily lectures on expanded Dianetics. So Ernest and Gay's daughter, who is a Class 6 auditor, flag trained, she now runs the RonZorg in South Africa, which they all set up when they left the official Church of Scientology. So they have they have a nice operation, beautiful buildings, and they have course rooms, and the thing that they get the materials from RonZorg, and they're all in touch with Max and Erica.
Let me ask you a couple questions before we share the photos. Just so the viewers know, I mean, we don't judge people. You know, if they want to follow Hubbard's technology or whatever their technology is, that's their choice. We're not here to, you know, basically justify it or anything like that. We're just presenting the information that this is out there, and people can believe. They're free to believe what they want. But these people, right, Janis, that from what I understand, they left Scientology because they were unhappy with the organization, and they decided that the technology was still valuable, so they wanted to go off and do it on their own. Is that right?
Exactly. So these are people who they had big wins in Scientology from the auditing and from the training, and they wanted to continue. And as you say, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what they want to do in their beliefs, and they set up their own group to do that. And, you know, with 50 of them, you know, you may as well all stick together, and that's what they did. And so I met with Gay and Ernest on my first day there in Cape Town, and you know, we chatted and stuff like that, and they were telling me about things and how they left and why. Anyway, so then when I went up to Johannesburg, Mike Laws and myself had dinner with Mark Schaeffler, John Toomey, and Shelley Ashurst.
You want me to put the photo up now?
Yeah, let's put up the photo with them.
All right, here, let me put this up first. Who's this here?
Yeah, so that's Ernest and Gay Corbet, and they're the original two that went off and went to the Ideal Orgs and decided it's messed up, and they left, and everyone followed with them.
Got it. And then, do you want me to go to the photo with the four of you guys together?
Yeah. We met at a Mexican restaurant, and well, we wanted a group photo. The waiters at the restaurant wanted us to do the photo with the hats on. So there we are. There's Mark, myself, John, and Shelley and Michael. Now, Mark was from the Bay Area originally, and he is very, very dedicated Scientologist. I don't know what his job is with RonZorg, but he's got things down verbatim where he's quoting factors and axioms and that type of thing. And anyway, so he's still a very, very strong believer, and it's working for him.
Okay. Let me ask you a question real quick. This is in Cape Town or Johannesburg?
This is in Johannesburg. Yeah.
Johannesburg. Okay. So I have to ask. You're at a Mexican restaurant in South Africa. How's the Mexican food?
It was good. It was good.
Comparable to what you would get here in the U.S. or in Mexico, or what?
Yeah, comparable to what you'd get here. They did a good job with it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right.
But John Toomey, he's a 5-time national horse champion,
Uh-huh.
and he'd also been to a lot of orgs and so forth, and he left with them. And then Shelley is the daughter of a woman who was LRH, L. Ron Hubbard's secretary in London back in the 50s.
Oh.
And she went and checked out St. Hill Manor before he bought it, and all that kind of stuff. As the secretary, she was in on a lot of different things. And Shelley's actually agreed to come on our show and tell some of the stories that her mother had told her. So that'll be a lot of fun. I actually spent 2 days with Shelley. She drove me everywhere, and we had good times.
Is this her there, or who's this?
No. Shelley was in the other picture, the Mexican one. This here is Tracy Corbet. She is the daughter of Ernest and Gay, and she's the class 6, and she is the one who heads up RonZorg in South Africa. And then on the left, that's Michael Laws and me. We were both on the African trip together. So.
Let me ask you a question, and then I'll go. I'm gonna go to the photos of the buildings next, right? Is that what you want?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Right. So, have they received any fair game or any attacks from Scientology because they're delivering quote unquote trademarked material for Scientology in Africa, or what's the deal?
I didn't ask, but I mean they're just peacefully doing their thing. They have the original OEC and bulletins, the red volumes. They have the original ones. When everyone was told to throw those all out, they kept theirs. They have the original books. They didn't go with the new library. This is the things that were kind of little indicators to them that something was going on. Why are all these books that Hubbard had personally approved himself, why are they being redone? So those were just little things that triggered Ernest and Gay in the first place to then go check out these ideal orgs.
Got it.
So where they are is on the north side of Johannesburg, and this is their advanced organization building. It's a very African type of atmosphere with the thatched roofs and a lot of trees around in nature, and there's actually horses right there. It's in a big compound. It's the Corbet compound, where the Corbets have their own house and their kids all have houses. It's a huge estate. And then there's a section for RonZorg.
And do they deliver the entire bridge from the very bottom communication course all the way up to the OT levels? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, we deliver the entire bridge from the bottom all the way up, plus Captain Bill's OT levels up to 46 or 48, whatever number that is.
Okay.
So they do that. And, this is one of the buildings here. And it's so clean and neat, and all the staff were very, very friendly. And there was a few students that I met. And I'll tell you, if I was still a Scientologist and wanted services, this is the place I would go. I was very happy with how they treated me and how they've set things up. Having worked with Hubbard for 11 years, directly 6 hours a day, and I know what Hubbard expects, and having been a missionary and gone to many orgs, this was definitely a very well set up, nice place to visit. Good atmosphere.
Let me show.
I don't think they go crazy with Thursday 2 o'clock stats.
What's this? Are these the restrooms, or what are these?
Those are auditing rooms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then this is their mission statement. With truth and knowledge, we nurture individuals and create change conditions for others and ourselves.
Okay.
And then this is Sophie. Sophie is such a sweetheart. She actually is the one who, under Tracy, runs the whole operation of RonZorg. And she took me around. And she used to work at the Johannesburg org. She was there for many years. So yeah, she and Shelley worked together. I think she was the Hubbard executive secretary and Shelley was public executive secretary. And when they worked together at the Johannesburg org, that was in, yeah. And this is outside one of the course rooms. I think this was the basic course room. And then this is one of their course rooms there, all set up for students. And that's in an auditing room. You can see the e-meter that they're using. And actually, interestingly enough, I think for the OT levels, they prefer the Mark V, not the Mark 6 or 7. The Mark V being the old wooden one. They found that reacts better than the newer e-meters. And then this is the library where it shows these are the original volumes. They didn't, throw out the ones that Miss Gavage changed.
Yeah. So let me ask you a couple of questions. How do they get do they do advertising or how do they get people? I mean, I have two questions. No, I don't want to jump to the second one. Let you answer this one first.
I didn't ask how they advertise, but I know they do get a lot of people from overseas. And the reason is in South Africa, the rand, which is the South African money, it goes a long way compared to the American dollar. Mm-hmm. And so if you want services, if I was a Scientologist and I wanted to go for the OT levels or any auditing, hell, South Africa has the cheapest prices than anybody, and they can arrange a place for you to stay. They have that all set up for international visitors to come and stay with them and get their auditing and so forth. But yeah, with the rand buying so much in South Africa, and it's so much cheaper there than having to go to Denmark or the UK, England, or anywhere else.
And looking at those photographs, this is the first time I've seen them. It totally reminds me of what the Scientology missions used to look like in the 70s and 80s before they were wiped out. They had more money than the Scientology organizations did because management was ripping the money out of the orgs to take it to the SEAL reserves. But I mean, I can recall going to several missions, that some of these mission holders had, and they were very nice. In other words, they were nice and clean, and they had, good spaces and that type of thing.
Right. Well, I grew up in a mission. We had a mission in our living room, As a kid, that's where I saw them all doing their drills and doing their courses and training and so forth. So, yeah, and it's got a very friendly atmosphere as opposed to the heavy stat push and trying to keep students up late to get student points up and, the crazy stuff that the official Church of Scientology applies.
Got it. So, do these RonZorgs, do they basically apply the bit of Scientology that they believe in and believe that it works, and then not do the stuff that is like, they go, well, that's really not something we want to continue, or do they follow everything?
No, I didn't get into that with them. It was more talking on the tech side of things. They follow Hubbard. I didn't ask about the administrative, Thursday 2:00 craziness and exec council and all that kind of stuff. I didn't ask about that.
And you didn't ask about disconnection and things like that. The policy.
Well, they don't disconnect. They don't disconnect. They they have their group, and they left because of the issues, which is disconnection, and a lot the RonZorg people don't believe in that. The fact that I'm a declared SP and they welcome me with open arms,
Janis, you're here.
Yeah, some of them didn't.
SP, Schmeshp, we don't care. Come on in.
Yeah, but some of them didn't even know who I was, or they found out who I was. But no, they were very friendly. And I must bring up on Mark Scheffler. He actually was on the TR's course back in 78 at Flag when Hubbard was working on that and having the students on the TR's course send up tapes. So he was all part of that and got an LRH pass on his TRs. So he was very proud of that. And these are people who you would always believe this is what a Scientologist should be. Mm-hmm. You know, I know people said that of my mother. She's an example of what you'd expect Scientologists to be. And that's what these people are. They're in it to help the people.
Right. They're loving, caring, compassionate people trying to help others. I understand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, while we were there, Shelley and I did drive past the Johannesburg org.
Oh, yeah. We've got to show those.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You had them.
No, it was on it. Yeah, there you go. So this is the Johannesburg org. Now, LRH policy always said, put it in an area where there's a lot of foot traffic. This place has walls around it, like it's a big compound.
Like a fortress?
And yeah, it's like a big fortress. Now, maybe that's because that's how Johannesburg is. Everything is fenced in with wires all around it because the crime is so bad.
Yeah.
But there's cameras, and we drove around it, not here yet, but we drove around the org, and yeah, it's a big compound, and it looks like a very nice place. And they have, different buildings for different activities of the academy levels and the auditing rooms and things like that. But it's just a big compound, and all is that sign. Of course, you can't body route there because there's no bodies to route. How they get new people in, I have no idea. I didn't even stop. We just kind of drove around it a couple of times and then thought, oh, they probably know we're now here. And then the next day we drove up to the Scientology Castle, which is actually up closer to the RonZorg. And we drove up there, and this time we had Michael Laws with us, Shelley, Michael, and I. And you can go to the next picture. And there's the front entrance to the castle. And it's a big castle on the hill.
Hold on. This is the advanced organization, right? This is different.
Yes, this is the advanced organization. Now, we had stopped down the road where I got out to take a picture of the castle on the hill. And obviously that set off some alarms. And because as we're driving by, there's like 2 OSA people coming down the hill on the other side of the gate. And then we drive down, and then we come back, and they're at the gate. And I kind of wave at them as we're going by.
And these are, quote unquote, ideal organizations by Miscavige, right? Both of the places, right?
Yes.
And they're not really that full. They're empty.
Exactly. And then you got gates, it's like you got guards. It's just like at Flag and these other orgs. It's like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be working with people and helping them, and you put gates up to stop people. It's a little off.
Yeah.
There it is.
Castle. This is the castle up high, right?
Yeah. And
you took?
Yes, I got out of the car and took that picture, and that probably triggered the car behind us that went in.
So the advanced organization for Scientology is that castle up there on the hill.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't even think they have enough people unless they've got people who the Scientologists are smart, and they're going, okay, if I pay in Rand, then I'm going to get my services cheaper than anywhere else in the world.
Right.
So, yeah.
You weren't causing any trouble. You were too angelic.
I was an angel. I took that at Signal Hill in Cape Town.
Yeah.
I took that at Signal Hill, and we were there at the top of the hill, and there's these paragliders going off. And I went, oh, I wonder if I can get a selfie with it in the background. And that was my photo.
Uh,
So I was being very angelic.
that's wonderful. It's wonderful. So is that's the RonZorg and Scientology in South Africa, right?
Yes. So I would say to any of you under the radar people who are Scientologists and you want to continue on the bridge, but you don't want to go into the org and start having to fork over so much in donations and, you know, be back in the eye of those regs, then go take a trip to South Africa. Go on safari, go check out Cape Town, go to Johannesburg and get your service there. Wonderful people.
And we should point out, Janice, there's other independent Scientology organizations like here in the U.S., right? Isn't there one up in Reno or in Atlanta? And I mean, there's other places that
there are other places now. I know that
we don't have any connection
US,
with them, but we know that there are people, just to the viewers who have never been in before, there are people who, like you said, they've had great wins with Scientology and L. Ron Hubbard's technology, right? They want to continue, but they don't like what happened in the church. So they're out there doing their thing. And like we said before, we're not evaluating for these people. They want to follow that and do the OT levels and all that. More power to them, because they're actually not hurting anybody. They're not actively, just like any beliefs, you know what I mean? Whether religion or belief, if somebody wants to believe something, that's their choice. Just don't hurt people. You know what I mean? Just don't be abusive towards people. And some people may argue the fact that, well, Scientology processing is hurtful. Well, it depends on how it's delivered. You know what I mean? Because I have processing I've had that I had tremendous gains and wins on, and I know you did too, Janice. And then there was other things like sec checks and security checking that was awful. So, you know, it is what it is. It's not something I'm going to do, but if people want to do it, they have free will to do that.
Yeah. And I want to point out, since you got on a roll about that, Trey Lotz, who has agreed, he's coming on our channel. He's one of the better known auditors in Los Angeles. And then there's also the group in Israel. That whole mission, that whole mission all left together. And I've heard rave results from them as well. And I actually was going to go and visit with them, but COVID happened, so I had to cancel that trip because I was going to go to Egypt and Israel and that type of thing. So, but anyway, there isn't just the official Church of Scientology where their main goal seems to be how much money they can get off different people, where these other independents, if you're into Scientology, they're into helping you. That's,
Right. That's fantastic. Okay, great. Well, I want to mention something before we get ended off here, is that Janice has 2 books available that she wrote about her time working with L. Ron Hubbard as the Commodore. This is Commodore Messenger Book 1, right? There's Janice Hubbard when you were 13. And this is
my Flood Pants
Book 2. And there you are with Hubbard back in the day. I think, is this in Portugal or in the Caribbean?
Yeah, that was in Setúbal, Portugal.
Yeah. Anyway, both of those books are available. Yeah. She'll autograph them for you, and there's tabs down below. So just click on them if you'd like to get an autographed copy from Janice. You can order them from our merchandise store there, and she'll be happy to do a personalized autograph for you. And so you can order those there if you'd like to hear more stories about Janice's time with L. Ron Hubbard and in Scientology. Those 2 books are available. I just wanted to mention that.
Oh, thank you, Mark. That was a good spiel.
Okay, great. Also, if you'd like, please subscribe to our channel and hit that like button and notification button. It greatly helps us get the message and word out about what we're doing. And then if you have any questions or comments about what we talked about here today, go down below. We check them all. We answer them. If you'd like to donate to our channel, you can buy us a coffee. There's a link in the video description. Or if you want to become a member of our channel, there's a join button right next to the subscribe button. You have to be on your PC or laptop. Hit that join button. There's a little video that explains the different perks that you get, including at the highest level, you get an autographed copy of Janice's book for free. So anyway, if you're interested in that, hit that join button. We greatly appreciate the people who are members of our channel and also our subscribers too. Anyway, Janice, is there anything else you wanted to say before we end it off here?
Just have a happy birthday, Mark.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And we have more shows coming. The summer is basically over here, and we've got different guests that we have lined up that we'll be doing great more shows going on here into the fall. We really appreciate everybody watching Scientology Peeling the Onion. Right, Janice?
Yes, keep peeling that onion.
Okay, everybody. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.